Greetings, fellow Grimdark readers and listeners, and welcome back to. I am your host, Mystery Centric, and welcome back to The Truth Be Told. Right, and now we're on part 2. And I think this is actually the longest part in the story. I think it's the. Nah, oh, nah. Part 5 is 46 minutes long. Oh, God. This is gonna take forever. So, if you didn't see the first one, then I'm gonna give another warning. Like I said in this one, this is probably gonna contain language, gore, violence, blood, mild sexual themes. May not be suitable for people under the ages of 18 and 14. And I'll even give you a few seconds to get out here and check something else. I'm sorry I had to do this for each individual part. I just need to get a warning on each parts. Are they gone? Okay. Oh, now, are you sure they're gone? So, but without any further delay, let's continue onward. The Lost Narrator presents Truth Be Told. Do we really? Nah, we shouldn't get to go through the whole intro again.
Dr. Stable snapped protective plastic sheets over his forehooves.
Now then, let's take a look at what's under gauze number 1, shall we?
Stretched out on the gurney, Pinkie Pie nodded. She had folded her forelegs under her chin so her nose wasn't pressed flush against the thin pillow. Her smile was so jaunty, he was almost able to miss the drawn lines of pain around her eyes.
It's a grand prize!
She chirped.
Although the two tech doesn't seem wonderful, I call dibs. My friend Dashy would love to go see them. If it's icky, stinky, gunky gunk, you can have it, Doc.
Dr. Stable smiled
Yeah.
back at her, though she was exhausted. He had liked Pinkie when he had first met her, and had been concerned when Horace called to say that she had been rushed to Ponyville General. At least it looked like she was staying chipper, which was always a good sign. As ever, he made conversation as he worked, trying to put his patient at ease.
How is Rainbow Dash these days? Still trying to pretend she doesn't like reading?
He smiled with a smirk. Pinkie Pie blew a tremendous raspberry.
That voice. I remember that guy voice from somewhere.
There's this really long story about a mare called Prison Power who joins the Wonder Bulls and becomes their best flyer ever and dominates all their shows and becomes team leader. And even Spitfire loves her because she's so awesome.
I don't think I mentioned this in the previous part, but
Pinkie
But,
was out of breath.
in
She
my
sipped her
opinion,
water before continuing
I am
to clean
Shadow. Her Pinkie Pie voice, it's okay.
And
And it kind of feels like Twilight doing a bad impression of Pinkie Pie more than actual Pinkie Pie.
Super awesome. She looked it in a drawer and made me process that Jimmy had opened and read the ending, which I thought was mean. But I guess she was just embarrassed, which would explain why she hid it in the first place.
She sucked in another lungful to carry on. Dr. Stable listened as he prized up the first piece of medical tape. Horse had gone overboard with the stuff, as usual. It took up a few pink hairs as it was peeled free.
Ooh.
Pinkie shrieked.
Sorry, just a couple more and I can see what's what under here.
Dr. Stable apologized.
Just don't fuck me bald, okay, Doc? I look really weird bald.
Pinkie scrunched
Wait,
her
how do you
chin
know that?
as if trying to imagine the sight.
Like a naked mole rat with longer legs.
I'm sure you wouldn't look that
Kind of.
2 more pieces of tape came free. There was something odd about the fur underneath. Dr.
Wait, what happened to the audio?
Mrs. Cake!
Pinkie cried in delight. Energy returned
Oh, there
to
we
her
go.
voice.
How's Mr. Cake? And the twins? Are they all okay? Did you apologize to them for me not giving them their morning valley raspberries? And tell them I'll do double tomorrow? Pound and pumpkin.
I apologize if the video
Blowing
thing
raspberries on Mr. Cake's belly would be weird.
went wrong.
Anyway, I guess it'd be okay if you blew raspberries on his belly. They're fine, Pinkie.
The chubby mare cut her off as she trotted towards them, frowning at Dr. Stable's expression.
Doctor, is something wrong?
She followed his gaze and stopped, eyes wide.
Oh my!
You did say there was just one lump this morning, didn't you?
Dr. Stable.
By the way, I'm squeezing on this ball so I can speak coherently and not stutter in between
Together,
sentences.
they stared in fascinated horror at the two swellings now nestling in Pinky's shoulder blades. Each was the size of a candy bar. Indeed, it almost looked like someone had inserted two of them under her skin, running down either side of her spine. The skin along her length was stretched tight. Tiny dark pustules dotted here and there.
I feel like I was trying to do it the style of editing out, like I was making it drag on and then the rest of it would be edited out.
With Pinky's pulse. Dr. Stable looked
Oh,
at the
I
underside
never
of the
use
dog.
editing software.
It was streaked
Mostly
with
because my
black
computer's
solid,
not strong enough to
separately
use
pustules.
one.
But there was no sign of the cut Dr. Horse had made less than 2 hours ago,
Pinky?
said Dr. Stable.
Oh, that doctor.
Pinky's ears pricked. The
I didn't
lump
even
in her
realize who it
twitched.
was until I took a closer look at
I'm
him.
going to touch your back, okay?
Oh,
She sounded less than enthused with the idea, but rallied quickly,
okay. Would you like to hold my hook, sweetie?
offered Mrs. Cake.
Yes, please?
Is he gonna try to pop it like a pimple? Because I know how that feels and it hurts.
Dr. Stable ignited his horn and elevated a small probe out of his chest pocket. Gently, he nudged one of the lumps. Pinky made a noise like she was shrieking into her mouth closed. Mrs. Cake jerked as the grip on her hoof increased.
Okay, sweetie.
She gruntily assured.
Consistency is firm.
Dr. Stable observed, making a note on his clipboard with another sliver of telekinesis. He nudged the lump again from the other side, finding the surface fleshy but delicate. It didn't seem to be filled with pus, but there was definitely something inside.
And it's hard to hear Pinky in pain.
Jelly.
Really hard.
Mrs. Cake informed them.
What was going on? Round two. No.
Oh.
Dad.
I've never seen anything like
Yeah,
that.
that's probably gonna be a
Placing
thing
the
from
probe
time to
and
time. I'm
scribbling
probably
down
just gonna
some
do
notes,
random
he stepped
things.
away from the bed.
Pinky, I'd like to admit you to the hospital so we can run some tests.
Just not math. I'm awful at math. All those numbers make my brain go, oh, hey, wait. I already did this part.
Dr. Stable and Mrs. Cake exchanged nonplussed looks. Mrs. Cake shrugged, and he had to
I'm
accept
decent
that
at
as
math. I'm
admission
not the
to a false
best,
state.
but I'm
As
decent.
he recalled her visits to
I know
Rainbow
the
Dash's
pluses
bedside,
and the
Pinkie
I know
Pie
the
was
pluses. I'm not
complimenting
really
some
good,
things no
and the
one else
minuses, but
For how long?
algebra is just
Mrs. Cake asked
what?
hopefully.
Quite honestly, I'm not sure how long.
He confessed.
As long as it takes to get the test results back and figure out what these are.
He gestured to Pinkie's back, where the lumps continued to twitch.
I'm afraid you won't be allowed to stay with her past visiting hours.
He checked the timepiece pinned to his white coat like a tiny ticking medal.
Which will be over in about 45 minutes, then restart this evening at 6 o'clock. I'll see that she's moved into a room, and then I'll arrange the tests with the nurses.
Oh,
Mrs. Cake looked disappointed.
don't be sad, Mrs. Cake.
Pinkie Pie said.
Why do I
with a
feel
light
like
blush
this
of hope.
ward thing is gonna start off well as a simple ward, and then it's gonna
Sudden realization
turn
passed
Piggy
over
into
her.
some sort of zombie or a mutant?
I forgot to
I
tell
feel
you.
like that's where that's going.
I'm sure they'll want to visit you too. Yay for Mr. Cake.
Pinkie tried to pump her hoof, but managed only a convulsive wriggle.
And yay, my friends are coming to see me. Ooh, maybe Twilight will know what these weird lummy funky things are. And if she doesn't know something, her books usually do. She has this brilliant habit of always finding exactly the right one in exactly the right moment. It's really amazing. Not to mention convenient.
Dr. Stable smiled indulgently, though another glance at Pinkie's back tightened the expression at the corners.
We'll see.
Huh.
Rainbow Dash forewent the door and headed for the windows.
Rainbow?
Twilight called sharply.
What? If you slowpokes want to use the door, go right ahead. I'll be with Pinkie, waiting for you to catch up. Do you even know what room she's in?
Rainbow Dash pulled up short.
Oh.
Twilight took a deep breath to
Whoever
steady
did
herself.
whoever did the
Putting the
Rainbow
news
Dash
that Pinkie Pie
voice,
had
I'm
been brought
sorry.
to
It
the
doesn't.
hospital with a
I'm
mysterious
sorry.
illness had
I know.
shaken
I know.
all
I'm.
of them.
I
Facing
apologize
down
if I'm
monsters,
being rude,
evil
but
dictators, and all the
your
wild
your
beasts
Rainbow
of the
Dash
desert,
impression
you could not have
is
made
not,
the
not.
bottom
It's
drop
nice that
out of
you're
her stomach
trying, and
any
I hope
faster
you
than Mr.
honestly
Cake's
get better.
carcass.
But
Judging from her friend's
it honestly
faces,
sounds
they
like
all
it
felt the
Spike
same
is
way.
it honestly
Applejack shook
sounds
her
like
head.
Spike trying to
Calm
do a
down there
rainbow
so fast, I'm
impression of Rainbow
surprised you don't
Dash and
mix
not
yourself
really
coming back
actual
the other
Rainbow
way,
Dash.
Rainbow.
Though I
Rainbow
do,
Dash swooped
and I
lower.
do hope you
Was that
get better
what
at
you
it because Rainbow
wanted?
Dash is a
So
hard voice to
you should
do.
stop squabbling and hurry up.
But to give you advice,
Rarity called from beside the
I
hospital
think
main
I think
entrance.
Purple Rosalind said you have to get
Oh,
good at
Rainbow.
the voice cracks and stuff.
Look who's talking. Applejack muttered rebelliously as they cantered to join her. Worry had made her snippy, but she stopped short of causing an actual argument right now. It was easy to discover which room Pinkie Pie was in. The receptionist at the front desk provided them with the information, and they made their
Oh,
way in mute haste along
I'll
the
see. I'm
corridors that
just checking
echoed
how
with
long this
labor
black
ink,
screen's gonna
everyone
last.
full of ponies. Stripes of
For 3
color on the
minutes.
floor mapped out a near impenetrable system of departments, wards, single rooms, and other places that even Twilight's zigzagginess mind found difficult to decipher.
I think room 83 is this way.
She said after studying a sign.
But the floor arrows say that the way leads to room 65 through 78.
Rainbow Dash protested.
The rooms aren't numerically categorized.
Twilight replied through gritted teeth. Part of her imagined lifting the roof off of the hospital and rearranging everything inside like a shoebox house so that it made more sense. The thoughts were nonsense, but she used them as a buffer against other, less welcome ones. Images of Pinkie in a hospital bed, Pinkie Pie attached to a trip, Pinkie Pie pale and weak and fading away from some horrible illness.
I think I found it.
Fluttershy whispered.
Oh, I thought that was Fluttershy.
Broken from her thoughts, Twilight looked up. Indeed,
I did
just
see
across
the
the
intro
window
credits one
campus,
time, and I do know
Dorothy
Mary
Oh,
said
Melody
to
is
the
in
door.
this. She's the
Above they
same.
read the sign,
She's the same
access
person
to
that
rooms
voices Fluttershy in
raised
the
before and
Daughter of
85.
Discord series.
Gangway!
Rainbow Dash flapped her wings to shoot off, and Billy flopped onto the floor.
Oh, hey, what did?
Applejack spit out a mouthful of multicolored tail and nodded to the other sign on the wall, this one round and ringed in red. It featured a tiny silhouette of a Pegasus in flight with a big diagonal line through the middle. No flying indoors. Don't you remember from the last time you were here?
Oh,
Is that Lost?
Rainbow Dash got to her hooves and marched truculently ahead.
right. Yeah, I remember.
Applejack rolled her eyes, but was closest on Rainbow Dash's heels as they trooped through the swinging doors. No pony was sure what they would find.
Man,
Mr. Cake
you
had
guys
been
don't know
pointing
it is
to
really
explain the
windy out
situation
there.
to Twilight when he yelled,
Pumpkin, no, not the.
and the signal was cut off. All Twilight had been able to ascertain was that it had been sudden and that Mrs. Cake was with Pinkie.
I hope she's okay.
Fluttershy murmured, voicing
Wait,
all
are you
of
talking
her
about
thoughts.
Of course she'll be
the
okay.
babies
Rainbow
or
Dash stared
the
over her shoulder, though there was a
Pinky?
certainty
I'm
buried
sorry,
in
I
her
just
words
can't
that only those who had
process
known her a long
thinking
time would have recognized.
today.
It's Pinkie Pie.
Room 83. Rainbow Dash raised a hoof and hesitated. She didn't protest when Applejack pushed it open instead.
Oh, hi, girl.
The bubble of tension that had encased them popped, like some pony had bursted it with a pin.
See?
Rainbow Dash said triumphantly.
I told you so.
Pinkie Pie laid in the bed near the window. She was on her stomach. Her grinning at them while
But
she had
Pinkie
run
Pie's
the
not
water races,
there.
and they were grand prize.
Or at least
On
in
the
the
chair next to the
image.
bed,
Like, seriously,
Mrs.
Pinkie
Cake
Pie
smiled
isn't
fondly.
even there.
There was no sign of an IV drip, and the bedclothes had been folded back to the bottom of the mattress.
All good signs.
Twilight thought.
I'm so happy you all came to visit me.
Pinkie Pie squealed in delight. Like we'd be anywhere else at a time like this, Sugar Cube? Applejack removed her hat to fan her face.
You put a scare into us worse than a locust swarm during harvest time.
Whoopsie doodle. Sorry.
Don't be sorry, darling.
Rarity advanced to hug Pinkie, but Mrs. Cake got up and held a foreleg to block her.
I'm sorry, dear.
She said, regret rolling off her.
I just don't think that'll be such a good idea.
Excuse me?
Rarity blinked at her, flummoxed. A small frown
Also, I
traced
think
Twilight's forehead.
I kind of didn't point this out, but I think Emogak did the voice for Mr. and Mrs. Cake.
Twilight explained.
Because I remember one of the I recognized one of the lines where
I think you
at,
might
at,
need
at the
an
beginning
when you
where
get home.
I think Emogak messed up and she sounded like Toad.
How did you know?
Go check out the bloopers for yourself.
It was a good one, Rumble.
I think
Mrs.
that
Cake blew out
that
her
part was in the
She looked more than a little
was
frazzled
in
by the day's events, and it was
the
barely past lunchtime.
the one
Her
where
record
I
hair
think it was
drooped to one
bloopers
side,
for everyone.
like a
I think
swirl
that
of slowly
that was the
melting
right one.
cream on a mug of hot
I
chocolate.
think it was the 20,000 subscriber special.
Rainbow Dash demanded.
Why is Pinky here when she's clearly okay?
Mrs. Cake stepped away from her. Rainbow Dash could be pretty intimidating.
Is it
and
raining
she
out
was
there?
in full-on protective mode. She often didn't realize the effect she could have on other ponies, and wasn't great on picking up social cues when emotional. She took a step towards Mrs. Cake.
I'm here because of these, Dashy.
Pinky piped up. She lay flat on the bed. When she was sure she had all of her friends' attentions, she swept her mane to one side of her neck with a hoof. As one, they inhaled sharply.
What are those?
Rainbow Dash couldn't quite keep
What
the
are
disgust from her
those?
voice. Twilight
I'm
appreciated
sorry, I had to
Rainbow
make that
Dash's
reference.
She didn't trust
What
herself
are
to sound any
those?
less
And I'm not
revolting.
talking about your shoes.
Doctors aren't sure.
Mrs. Cake said.
They've done some tests, but Dr. Stable said the results won't be back until tomorrow, so they're keeping Pinky here for observation until then. I like the watch pot that never boils.
Pinky declared.
Except I'm not a pot, I'm a pony, and I don't boil, I giggle.
As if to demonstrate, she did so. Twilight swallowed hard. She could barely retch her eyes away.
That was cackling.
And at least
That wasn't
6
giggling,
inches
that was
long,
cackling.
shivering spasmodically. The skin over them was stretched
I was
so
just pointing
tight,
that out.
thin veins and arteries shone clearly beneath the surface. The thin coating of pink fur did nothing to improve their appearance. Black, ugly pustules pushed up between the hairs. As Twilight watched, one quivered and split, leaking black fluid.
Wow, girls, you can stop staring now.
Pinky chuckled. Rarity's mouth worked for a moment before she asked,
Do they... How are you feeling, darling? Me?
Pinky tried to shrug.
I'm okay. Not quite double dip rocky road, and it's still awesome, but okay. The unicorn that Dr. Stable brought to see me said I'm a remarkable phenomenon. Phenomenon, do 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 do. Phenomenon, do 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 do.
She began singing a simple repetitive tune that struck Twilight as slightly jagged at the edges. Pinky's voice sounded odd.
I know
not
that
quite
song
as
from
fluent
somewhere.
as usual. A sliver of pain threaded through the sound like a piece of wire in a bushel of best quality hay.
He took some blood to run magic tests on. Dr. Stable says he's the best mage in the whole hospital. And if any pony can figure out what these things are, he can.
Twilight noticed the snag that caught
One
her
thing I
throat
noticed
before
about
she
Inverted
right
Shadow
into
is
her
that
speech.
instead of
Again, so
her
did Flourishing
S's being
Applejack,
like
as they both
like
stepped
this,
forward. Yet,
it kind of
as
feels
always,
like
Rainbow
she's
Dash beat them to it.
it
In
kind of
lieu of a hug, she
sounds
ran
like
a hook
this
through
a little
Pinky's
bit.
mane, scrubbing her ear.
It's okay, Pinky. You'll be okay.
It sounds a little
Her smile
like
not slipping an
softer
inch, though her eyes were
and not
settled
a
in
lot more
silence.
sharper.
Oh, Dashy. Ah, Dashy, you smell like... Ew. Yeah, sorry about that.
Rainbow
Where
Dash
have you
scrubbed
been,
her
Rainbow
hand,
Dash?
evidently
Did
to give
you
her hook
crash land
something to
into the
do
garbage
to
can
ask for
again?
a hug.
I was helping out a Clean Apple Acres and had a little accident.
She learned that accuracy, not speed, is what counts when making a compost heap.
Applejack explained with a
Oh.
wry grin.
Pew, Dashy.
Pinky pinched her snout shut.
So far,
with a hook and
aside
buried
from
her
the
face
fact
in her
that
hand.
Pinky's gotten some warts and
Flower.
went through a little pain, this is quite
Rainbow Dash repeated
this is
incredulous.
quite tame for a Grimdark fan fiction.
Yes.
Like I can't see, like so far, there's so many happy and cheerful moments that I have no idea how this is gonna end
All
badly.
in the twilight as Rainbow Dash raised a foreleg above her head and sniffed underneath experimentally.
So I'm guessing it's gonna take longer for things to hit the
Twilight knew
fan.
the innumerable spells she had committed to memory.
Well,
I guess I could try the...
Twilight,
Pinky interrupted her.
you changed your mane and your fur. Wowzers! How much dye did that take?
Her eyes widened, as if she was seeing Twilight for the first time.
Huh?
Twilight said intelligently.
What are you talking about, Pinky?
Rainbow Dash frowned in confusion.
Twilight looks the same as she always does. Yes, boring mane style and all.
Rarity added.
Oh, hush you.
Applejack nudged her shoulder with her own. Pinky's frown put Rainbow Dash's to shame.
No, she doesn't. She looks totally different. For one thing, she's purple.
Every pony exchanged bemused looks.
Pinky, I've always been purple.
Twilight said slowly.
Nuh-uh.
Pinky twisted her head to one side, examining her.
You were pink just yesterday. What made you decide to change? Did Rarity finally get to you?
Her grin turned knowing.
I told you someday she'd get you into Madame Tristessa's hair salon.
I swear I'm hearing things outside.
She sing-songed.
Your cutie mark.
She
Twilight
sings
looked
song.
over at Rarity, but the other unicorn was
I'm sorry, that
just
line-
as
that-
confused.
The way that line was written, it sounded pretty
Murmured
funny.
Mrs. Cake. All other conversation was precluded by the arrival of a pale yellow pony with a cross cutie mark and matching hat of a nurse. Her blue mane was bound tight against the back of her neck by a hairnet, and it looked like the pull on her scalp had put her in a poor mood. She glared icily at the assembled mares.
Only 2 visitors at a time, please.
The please had the inflection of a far different word that professionalism did not allow her to say. Pinky shook her head.
Whoopsie doodle. I guess you'll get to go for your bath after all, Dashy.
Besides which,
The nurse went on as if Pinky hadn't spoken.
visiting hours ended 5 whole minutes ago, so you all have to leave.
Her tone left no room for argument.
I see you're as chirpy as ever, Nurse Snowheart.
Rainbow Dash didn't bother to hide her sarcasm. The nurse transferred her glare solely to Rainbow Dash, who managed to withstand it 60 whole seconds before dropping her gaze.
If you please.
The yellow mare enunciated, stepping to one side and gesturing to the door with an imperious hoof.
But we hardly got to speak to our friend at all.
Dash tried to protest.
Then be here promptly at 6 o'clock for evening visiting hours.
I think we better do as she says.
Said Fluttershy.
Yeah, same here,
We don't
Fluttershy.
break the rules, do we? Snowheart by name, Snowheart by nature.
Rainbow Dash muttered.
By the way,
Nonetheless,
if
she
you're
walked
wondering
out
why
to
I'm not
the
giving my
gate.
thoughts on
With
each
the 5
individual
friends
part
stepping
is,
cake
well,
together,
because I'm
even
I'm waiting
the
for
door
the
swung shut
very end
behind
where I
them.
can give my full-fledged thoughts on this story as a
Wait.
whole.
I'll see you later.
Rude.
They made their way back to reception, each perusing her own thoughts until they were nearly at the end of their brief journey.
She didn't even get to finish her goodbye.
What the hell was that all about?
Rainbow Dash demanded.
Twilight? I have no idea.
Twilight replied.
They're gonna do something to her.
No.
I don't know what though, but it's probably gonna be something
Mrs.
gross.
Cake shook her head.
Next morning, she woke up with a cold lump on her back. In a few hours, it had turned into, well, sobbing.
She shivered.
She had all her wits, though. She knew who I was, who Carrot, Pumpkin, and Pound were. She even remembered Dr. Horse and how he gave out lollipops to little fillies who behaved themselves. Oh dear, I do hope her memory isn't being affected.
Rainbow Dash glanced over her shoulder as if she expected Pinky to be standing in the corridor behind them. Of course, she wasn't.
Do you think that was a bad sign?
She asked uncertainly.
Or do you think she was just joking? She sounded completely convinced.
Said Rarity.
Not like she was joking at all. Perhaps we should, tell her doctor about it?
Fluttershy suggested. Twilight nodded.
That sounds like a good idea. Come on, girls. Let's go find Dr. Stable.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but Dr. Stable is in a meeting right now and can't be disturbed.
Wait, I remember this art style.
Was not the one
Or
they had
the-
spoken
or
to
this
when
art-
they had arrived.
right
They
now.
had none of
It
that
looks
here
like
before
the
the
same
hour.
guy that did the
Her
art
steel
style
gray
for
coat
the
and steel gray
dramatic
eyes said
part
quite
for
clearly that she was immovable as
Bride
the
of
metal wall
Discord, the
riveted to the
relapse.
ground across their path.
But we really need to speak with him.
Rainbow Dash insisted, placing her hooves on the desk and leaning forward. Instantly, she was surrounded by a silvery aura and forcibly removed. It is clearly stated for ponies to keep all limbs behind the line. The receptionist crisply informed her. Please?
What is with the ponies around here using please like an insult?
Twilight wondered. She put a hoof on Rainbow's shoulder.
It's
shaking her
because
head
we're
before
gonna do
clicking
some
her face
experiments
with
on
death.
her, and we're trying to be as rude
We're
as
very
possible.
sorry, but while we were
Because
visiting
this is a
with Miss
Grimdark
Brown,
fan fiction,
she's here
so
today as an
we're
emergency
following the
aid.
rules
She said something
of
that
the
we
word.
thought he should know. Since he's her attending doctor and her symptoms are problematic, to say the least, we thought it might help his diagnosis to have facts he might not already be aware of.
The receptionist sniffed. She shuffled through some papers and rudely elevated them between herself and Twilight.
I can only
so that
imagine
her
what the
face was
experiments
obscured.
would look like.
I'll pass on your concerns when he gets out.
Oh
Miss
god.
Write down your concerns on this form and sign your name. I'll make sure he gets it.
Sure you will.
Rainbow Dash snorted.
Hey!
She rubbed her hind leg where Applejack's hoof had caught her. That ain't helping, Applejack hissed. I thought we talked about the importance of having an internal and external monologue. Twilight took up the quill.
Well, as long as he gets to see this, I guess it'll have to do.
Though privately, she resolved to seek him out at precisely 6 o'clock and tell him face to face. Whatever was wrong with Pinky, the symptoms were disparate and formed no pattern Twilight could see, at least until more data presented itself for her to find the patterns in. Then again, though she had read a few books, neither medicine nor
And how long
religion
have I been
were her
recording
areas of
this?
expertise. They left the
Oh,
hospital both
27 minutes.
enlightened and more dejected than when they had arrived. No pony said anything as they trudged away, not until Mrs. Cake cleared her throat.
If it's okay with you, I'm going to go home now and tell poor Carrot what's going on. He'll be beside himself and worried by now, and I hate to think what all pumpkin damage from your surge.
She winced.
I've had to start making multiple copies of all family photographs in case she burns them off. No problem, Mrs. C.
Said Rainbow Dash.
Thanks for looking after Pinky today. Oh, no. There's no need to thank me, dear.
Mrs. Cake waved a hoof as if she was trying to dissipate a cloud of midges.
What else could I have possibly done? He's like family.
With a few more
Of
goodbyes,
course.
she separated off from the group and trotted away in the direction of Sugar Cube Corner. Rainbow Dash watched her pensively.
You know, I bet she's a great mom. Some ponies are just made to be moms.
She sure played the part.
Yeah, you make a good
Said
point, Spy.
Applejack.
I mean,
At the
Rainbow
mention
Dash.
of their friend, everyone fell silent again.
So, Twilight, any theories on whatever they were on her back?
Rainbow Dash eventually asked.
I don't know,
Twilight admitted.
but I'd like to take a look at the medical section of the library before we go back this evening. Sounds like a plan to me.
Rainbow Dash spun on one hoof and launched herself into the air.
Come on. All of you are coming?
Twilight said as Rarity, Applejack, and Fluttershy
Uh.
trotted forward.
Excuse me again.
Well, of course, darling.
That's the second time I burped
Said
it
Rarity.
each time in both parts.
If I go home, I'll just fret, Applejack confessed. Won't be worth the wait to know, pony. And a distracted apple farmer is an injured apple farmer. I reckon the best thing I could do right now is some book checking instead. Leastways, then I'll feel like I'm doing something constructive instead of moping around like a ball of yarn with no cap.
It's always taking
Or
me
moping
so
around like a squeeze ball waiting to be squeezed.
Especially if it's something you can't cure yourself. When you can't do anything physical to fix a situation, or if you have to rely on others, it makes you feel helpless.
She ducked her head.
At least, that's what I've always found when one of my animal friends gets too sick.
She trailed off, as if only just realizing what she was saying.
Oh yeah, Fluttershy is probably the most familiar of all of us with this sort of thing.
Twilight thought. Her own
I'm
mind
sorry if I
said
keep
it
looking
seemed
back, but
Fluttershy's
the
method.
winds,
And coming to
noises,
think
and the
including
sounds of
the
cars
where
going by,
animals get so
it's
sick that they don't recover,
it keeps
and there's nothing
distracting
she
me.
can do about it. Twilight shook her head vigorously.
Stop that! Pinky was fine. She was talking and laughing and acting her regular Pinky self, except for the part where she didn't recognize me and those things growing out of her back. And were you coming or what? Yes, coming.
Twilight, you're acting as paranoid as ever. Don't tell me she's gonna go insane at the end of this.
Nurse Redheart did not like Nurse Snowheart. Unfortunately, working in such a close vicinity and with many overlapping hours, she had to learn to bite her tongue, nod, and smile when the other nurse got on her nerves. That wasn't to say that she was always in a good mood herself, but her moments of irritation and frustration were nothing compared to the sheer wind chill factor Snowheart called a bedside manner.
Bedpan checks in rooms 83 through 85.
Snowheart informed her imperviously.
You can have that one, Redheart.
Redheart gritted her teeth, reminding herself that Snowheart was her supervisor, and that telling one supervisor to go shove a ginger root up her backside was a bad career move. She could see Nurse Sweetheart shaking her head, while Nurse Tenderheart made cutting motions across her own throat. Taking their lead, Redheart drew in a deep breath, smiled, and nodded.
Your turn next time, though.
She said with false cheer. Snowheart said nothing, leaving Redheart with the inevitable task of checking out the three
So it's
rooms
gonna
bed
take
and emptying the contents
3
of
minutes.
any full ones. She started with 85.
So it's probably gonna be 3 more minutes until something on fan art pops up.
It was difficult to forget a pony
Because right
who was
now it's
taking
just
down
a black
after
screen.
Ponyville for vomiting Rex. By all accounts, Pinkie Pie was actually a talented baker.
This part's been going on for so long. I'm just feels like I'm just chilling, laid back, reacting to this with you guys.
Redheart was still circumspect about eating pastries from Sugarcube Corner.
Pinkie Pie?
She nonetheless said warmly as she unhooked the chart and went inside. It was hard to hold anything against the bubbly pink pony.
I guess
who typically lit up a hole of
so
with a smile.
we're already 2 parts into this. And the second part, it's pretty chill and laid back.
Looking at the notes first.
Or it's pretty tame, at least in my opinion.
She stopped in her tracks. Pinkie Pie was on her side, her back to the window. She was curled into a tight ball, face buried in her own tail, and was shaking like she had just come out of a blizzard. Redheart hurried to her side, all thoughts of the bedpan
I may have spoken too soon.
as she crouched to look into Pinkie's face.
Pinkie Pie,
She said, soft and slow.
where does it hurt? Tell me where you hurt, Pinkie Pie.
Pinkie's eyes were huge. The pupils shrunk to tiny pinpricks. It took a few seconds for her to register Redheart's presence. Even after she turned her face towards the nurse, she blinked like she didn't recognize her.
I'm not meant to be here,
she whispered.
Pinkie Pie, you're not very well. The hospital is exactly where you need to be right now. Wrong. It's all wrong. Even the parts that are right are wrong. Pinkie Pie?
Huh?
Redheart glanced at the emergency button on the bed frame. She always tried to talk patients down first, and only hit that if she needed it. Porters, nurses, and security ponies flooding into this little room would not help right now.
Subtle and big, big and subtle.
Pinkie gabbled. She held a hoof up to her face, turning it over like it was some alien thing.
Why am I this way? I shouldn't be this way. Is this me? I can't remember. Except the bits that I can. Where's the estate? I was by the pool watching the babies have their swimming lesson. And then... I can't remember. It's wrong. I'm wrong. Everything is wrong. 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 Send me home. Please. Pinkie Pie, I need you to focus on me.
Redheart said, again in a soft, slow manner designed to soothe.
Look at me, Pinkie Pie. Look at me.
Bit by bit, the blue eyes shifted to meet hers. Redheart was shocked, but didn't show it. Pinkie's eyes
Now
were
something
deep
pops up.
calm. It was faint, and Redheart would have had a hard time justifying it to more practical mind colleagues. but something in those eyes seemed off kilter.
Huh?
They even looked the wrong color. The
Yeah.
shade of blue too dark and getting even darker at the edges. Then abruptly, things shifted back into their proper place, and her pupils expanded. It was as if a switch had been thrown somewhere in her head. Pinkie Pie blinked, and in an instant, she truly was Pinkie Pie again.
Huh? Nurse Redheart, why are you squeezing my face?
And apparently didn't remember a thing. Redheart hadn't realized she was. She released
What's
her cupping
happening to
hold,
Pinkie?
allowing Pinkie to rub her cheeks. A small groan escaped her lips.
Oh, why am I on my side?
She asked hoarsely.
It really hurts. Like, oh what?
Redheart helped roll her onto her stomach, throat constricting when she saw the lumps on her back. It looked like some pony had thrusted a pair of metal pipes into Pinkie from behind, and then covered them with ill-fitting fur. They moved as Pinkie drew in shuddering pain-soaked breath after shuddering pain-soaked breath. Something thick and dark leaked from the separating spores caused by the thing's skin tearing.
Sounds like she.
Redheart instantly set about cleaning
It sounds
the
like
wound.
she said the same thing
At
twice.
first, she thought the black stuff might be an
Just
infection,
pointing that out.
but there was no other sign.
So I spoke
There
too
was no
soon.
telltale drop
When
in the
this
smell
is,
either.
I said this is
In
pretty
fact,
laid back.
Pinkie smelled strongly of
This
sweet.
is not laid back
A
at
little
all.
black skunk walked close to her nose.
But what is happening
It
to
reminded
her?
Redheart
What
strongly
is
of
happening?
Ponyville's library, though she couldn't explain why.
Is she becoming someone
Pinkie
else?
said gratefully,
I don't know why I rolled over when it hurts so much to move.
She reached behind her and poked tentatively at one of the growths.
They've grown again.
Her voice lost all semblance of cheer. Redheart was about to say something when a strange gulp made her stop.
At this rate, by the time my test results come back, there'll be more of these things than there has of me.
She tried for a giggle, but it fell flat.
It's kind of scary, you know? Not knowing what they are. Or what's happening to me.
Ponies are
Her
always
voice became
fearful
a
of something
whisper
they
no
never
pony who
understand.
knew her would have expected.
Or what's going to happen to me.
A fat tear rolled down her cheek, then another, and another. In only a few seconds, she was struggling not to bawl, and Redheart was doing the only thing she could think to do in any circumstance, hugging Pinkie Pie's head. She shushed her and stroked her mane, as the eternally positive pink pony sobbed herself ragged.
At least Nerd Redheart is
She
treating the
eventually
patient with,
sniffled.
or Pinkie Pie with respect.
I think I needed that. Good thing I didn't cry when my friends were here. Or they worry like silly fillies.
Sometimes every pony needs a good cry.
Redheart said sagely.
Better out than in.
Like burps
Very true.
Pinkie whispered.
or gas.
Despite herself, Redheart snorted.
Nurse Redheart,
Yes, Pinkie?
have you ever seen any pony with things like these before?
Redheart paused before answering.
No, Pinkie. I haven't.
She had seen strangely lumpy growths before, but nothing that had ever grown at the rate Pinkie's chart had said hers had grown.
Pinkie, do you remember what you said to me when I came in?
Pinkie thought hard.
I asked you why I was on my side. I guess I must have fallen asleep. I always roll on my side when I'm sleeping, so it's usually the right.
Is that a
the
motorcycle?
Left. But I guess I must have got all twisty turned around because I'm on a strange bed instead of my nice, snuggly, wuggly, warm one back home.
She didn't remember any of the strange things she had said. Delusions, maybe? Waking dreams? She wasn't on any medication yet, so it couldn't be an adverse reaction to that.
Redheart resolved to find Dr. Stable to tell him of this. Maybe he would have an idea.
Hey, Nurse Redheart,
Yes?
is there any way I could get some food around here? I missed lunch, and now I'm starving.
Oh?
Redheart blinked.
I'll see what I can do.
Thanks!
Pinkie beamed.
You're a peach.
She giggled like it was one of the funniest jokes ever told in the entire history of the world.
Is that it? No, wait, there's the... something.
High above Ponyville,
The
a cloud that had been carefully
cloud.
placed by the weather patrol effervesced like a corpse filled with maggots. Convulsively, small black lines wriggled out of its folds and worked their way into the neighboring cloud. They wriggled and squirmed and twisted around the sky, silently making their way out of town and into the open sky above the countryside beyond.
Hey,
A gray Pegasus swooped into their path. Ditsy Doo wasn't the fastest or
Derby.
smartest pony in Ponyville, but even
Of
she knew
course.
something like this wasn't normal. She landed on the cloud.
That's gotta be
sending
bad.
the
When
Lions
even
into
Ditsy know...
apparent panic.
What, something is so strange that even Ditsy knows that it's strange?
Black lines
The net
crowded
must be
together,
bad.
spitting out fragments of themselves into odd patterns across the cloud.
this doesn't look good.
Ditsy muttered to herself. She turned to fly away, deciding upon what was, to her, the most natural recourse in a crisis.
I'd better go get Rainbow Dash.
The clouds below her detonated upwards in black.
Well, okay then. I guess I spoke too... like I said, I spoke too early. When I said... When, I guess the fanfiction Harvey, and it was probably like, guys, this guy's saying this fanfiction's pretty laid back, so we gotta kill off a character, and the writer was like, Derpy. And they're probably like, why? Because fan service reasons, I guess. But seriously, what kind of creature or anything is controlling those clouds? I really want to know how those cloud things are so deadly. And I guess those clouds don't want the word getting out to them. But I don't know how this is gonna tie in with Pinkie Pie's mole thing, boil or thing. I don't care. Not really. I don't care. I just don't really care if it's a boil or a pimple or a blister. I can't really think of things now. But I have no idea where any of this is gonna go. But I'm guessing the fans are probably gonna be like, "They killed Derpy. How could they? Dislike, comment, dislike, hate, comment, and unsubscribe. How could you?" The bro, man. I know Derpy is I know Derpy is in my top 10 favorites, but at number 10. But I just think that the fandom cares a little too much about their precious little strabismus pony. There's no other way I can describe Derpy other than a strabismus pony and a meme pony. But so, and yeah, I'm gonna take another break from the in between, and I'm wondering what's gonna happen in the next part. That's probably gonna be how these outros stay. So, and I hope all of you enjoyed this this part 3 as much as I did, and I'll see you in part 3. And as always, stay grim.